Hi, my name is Ollie, and I'm part of the One Third Stories team. You might have seen in a recent email, Alex and Johnny, I think, called me the chief optimist, and a recent BFF of our local post office, which is definitely true. So following on from the videos that Alex and Johnny and Corey have put together for their language learning resolutions, it's time to talk about mine. And this year I'm doing Spanish. So I haven't got any formal qualifications, or I didn't study Spanish at school, so no kind of background like that, but I do have family. So I have 5 cousins, my auntie who live out in Spain, and I've got friends who can speak Spanish fluently, so I've got no excuse really. And as for my aim to where I want to get to, I have no intention to, or aim at the moment to become fluent. I think that's quite an unrealistic goal for me, and where I'm at and how much time I can dedicate to it. But I'd really love to, and I feel like I'm able to get to a position where I can at least have a good conversation with them, and have a good conversation with people that I meet who are Spanish, or when I go travelling. So to get me started, I'm doing a few things. First, of course, is this great book called The Great Espanol Word Search, which I've got with me, and has given me a great kind of genuinely been a really useful kind of refresher. There's been some different parts of different vocabulary, which I definitely didn't know before we got involved in writing the book. I won't tell you which words they are, just in case you haven't got your book yet, but spoiler, they're pretty cool. The next is, like Corey and Johnny have also mentioned, I've got the app Duolingo. I try and genuinely most days actually do use it every day. I enjoy it for the kind of vocabulary. I definitely pick up new words doing that, and it's a good habit to actually be thinking about my Spanish every day. I find it not so helpful in terms of actually when it comes to try and talk to people in Spanish, or talk about Spanish in general. My recall, it's not that great for it. So that might be because I don't use it frequently enough, but I think it does have its limitations in terms of being able to take yourself out of the app and actually into the everyday use, which I guess for most people is exactly why they're learning that language in the first place. I have also set up a club now, which is a new feature on Duolingo as of the last few weeks and months, I think. So if anyone else out there is doing Spanish on Duolingo, there's a screenshot of the code somewhere around here. So please just put that code in, and we can help each other out and kind of spur each other on to carry on doing that. To help me also, I've set up lessons, online lessons through a platform called italki, and I've got a tutor called Fran, and here he is introducing himself to you.
Hola, soy Fran y estoy ayudando a Oli a aprender español en italki.
So those lessons with Fran are great at the moment. It's going over a lot of the basics and actually really helping me to understand the different kind of core bits of grammar before we can start to move into more of that conversation. Really enjoying it so far, so would definitely recommend you checking italki out. Finally, I'm channeling my love of podcasts. I love listening to podcasts on lots of different issues anyway, but there's also a really great podcast out there for anyone who is learning Spanish, and I think I assume anyway across quite a different kind of ability range, if you like. I'm very much at the beginner side of things, but it's called Coffee Break Spanish. I know there are other ones out there, but Coffee Break Spanish is what I'm listening to, and it's a really great way of them talking through and actually kind of giving you better examples of when to use the vocabulary, and actually why those rules are those rules, and actually finding out what those exceptions are, and having to deal with those exceptions in the Spanish language. So it's usually around 20 minutes long, and I find it a really great way of having it sometimes on in the background, and sometimes being a bit more conscious in terms of engaging with it, and it's been really great. That's all from me to start with. Really looking forward to seeing how I get on with it. Quite confident in the platforms that I'm using, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, looking forward to keeping you guys all updated with how I get on. And until then, hasta luego. Adios.